Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. So, recent Supergirl comics have had fans jumping up and down. In August of 2017, Selina, famed sorceress of Ataxia, is supposed to appear. Fans who know the 1984 Supergirl movie know that Selina was the primary villain in that film. It wasn't a particularly acclaimed film. It didn't make a lot of money. It didn't go anywhere else beyond that one film, although there was talk of a continuing franchise. The reason that the Supergirl film was made was because they were trying to get a Superman film made, and I guess Christopher Reeve was obligated to do some other stuff, and it was going to be a while before they got to the Superman movie franchise again. So for a little less money and a little less jumping through hoops, they were able to, Salkind and friends were able to put together a Supergirl film, which saw Superman off in another galaxy, stopping a civil war of some kind, and Supergirl conveniently arrive on Earth during the time when a super being would be most needed, although Superman wasn't going to be around. They cover that at the very beginning, which oftentimes is a thing that I wish they would do on Supergirl. Even when they said in the beginning Superman won't appear on this show, it's Supergirl's show and we don't need him outshining her, or she doesn't need him to be good. What has happened is they've gotten away from that because Superman has appeared many times on the Supergirl show, but instead of getting into the argument that he's better than her or we don't need him around to make her something special, they've just made her better than him in almost every time they've met, with the exception of the first time where he had to save her life from Reactron. Now she's turned out to be stronger than him. She's able to best him in a battle. I guess the argument could be made that he was under mind control and therefore not of his full faculty. Or maybe you could say that somewhere in there he knew he was fighting Supergirl and he actually didn't try as hard to kill her, even though he was under mind control and his great willpower from within, which might be the best way to look at it, but I don't know that that actually came out on screen. That's just a Superman fan trying to give it a reason. No, it's not impossible that females on Krypton wouldn't be stronger on Earth. It's not impossible that certain females wouldn't be stronger than males. The issue isn't that I don't think a female can be stronger or that females can't be great and that females aren't great. They are. The issue here is Superman is Superman, and Supergirl was made to gleam off the success of a character that was already very successful. And they said, well, why can't we create a female that would be just as successful? And they did. She's never been just as successful, but now she has her own show. Comics have been going for quite some time. I believe I've read one of the new Rebirth series. It didn't get me, but I'm also not up to date on the Superman books, the JLA books. I'm just not up to date. I have not loved the modicum of mucky mess that we've been in since the New 52 launched, and since that thing went by the wayside, and since they killed off the other Superman, and since they merged, and now supposedly that hasn't happened, or it was Mixius Pitlick, or it was some other way, and now none of that ever happened, and it was all a joke. And maybe, and I will, and I need to get back to that because I need to figure out what exactly that is. But the good thing now is that we have, I like Easter eggs. I like when they harken back to things they've done before, so I think it's neat that the Decahedron and Selina and other characters from that movie, from Krypton, from that whole situation, are gonna come into this story, and that they're using that. So it's neat that they're bringing her in. My understanding is Supergirl fans have been waiting a long time to see some of those ideas and some of those characters come to the comic books. It's not that the ideas for the movie weren't well thought of. It's just that sort of the putting together of that movie and the seeing it through, and the acting and some of the writing that just didn't follow through with some of the cool ideas that they had. A sorceress, magic. Kryptonians are susceptible to magic. She's from another planet, another world. She has sorceress powers. Of course, in the movie, I don't think it was ever said that she was necessarily from another world, or maybe it was. It's been such a long time since I've seen it. So anyway, that gives them a villain where they don't have to use kryptonite. She's somebody who can use her powers on Supergirl. And what they generally don't do in the comics is give the stupid sidekick. Like Luthor had to have Otis. Selina had to have that crazy ditzy airhead with her. Superman 3, you had to have not only Richard Pryor, but you had to have Robert Vaughn playing this really intelligent Lex Luthor-like businessman, but he was surrounded by idiots. You wouldn't surround yourself with complete idiots. That's what I've always hated, when they belittle Lex Luthor by putting idiots around him or putting him in a train station. He's one of the smartest guys on Earth. He's one of the richest guys on Earth. So why would he have goofballs around him? He would know to surround himself with important people. He would have smart, important people doing all his dirty work for him, and he wouldn't be living in a train station. So what will probably happen with the comics is they'll do away with some of the sillier stuff. Not that there isn't silly stuff that happens in comics, but if they take Selina seriously, and they take the Decahedron seriously, and they take that whole situation seriously, maybe in the comics we'll get the movie that we didn't get in 1984, although it's a cult favorite. People still love to go back and watch it. And hopefully on the Supergirl series, maybe we can see some of that, and maybe we can find out that maybe Superman wasn't trying incredibly hard to kill her. Not to say they can't even be evenly matched, or that she can't be stronger than him. I just like it wasn't necessary to bring him on to make her stronger. It's also not necessary to have him on and then make him weaker and not as good in order to make her seem stronger. Let's have them both be strong of their own accord. And let's see what happens with Selina and the Decahedron in comics. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky. La 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 la.